Awesome. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Council.
Go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
My name is Jane Van Kuren, and I'm a resident of 22550 Southwest Highland Drive, apartment 132. I came to City Council on March 7th and made a citizen comment about wanting a town hall meeting with the owners of Cannery Row Apartments, the property managers, Cushman Wakefield Incorporated, and the residents. In my files right here, I have the names and addresses of 19 people who are interested and concerned and want to attend this meeting. I am here today to tell you that I went to the county commissioners and made a 2-minute citizen comment in Hillsborough. I attended the public hearing in Salem on Senate Bill 611, and I submitted written testimony that is on record with the hope that a tenants committee could be formed by using an opportunity for citizen engagement. Today, I want you to know that the owners haven't contacted any of us with the news of a meeting. The property managers have not either, and now I'm returning to my city. And I want to say, what is it going to take to get a tenants committee established? The language is in Senate Bill 611, and it could be very, very good. People who are tenants have concerns. Tenants have asked me, the city of Sherwood, what is it going to do for us? And I know this is not the time or place to discuss the details of how a business is conducting itself in our city. That's not what we're here for. It is not the time or place to discuss water, sanitation, and hygiene. But we want to know who in our city is going to help us. I know, Mayor Rosner, you weren't here when I came last time, but you've done a lot of things, and I want to thank each of you for what it is that you are able to do. But let me repeat my question. Who in our city is going to help us? Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. All right. All right. Next is Neil Shannon. Welcome, Neil. It's good to see you again.
Good evening. My name is Neil Shannon, and I reside at 23997 Southwest Redfern Drive. I'm here again to talk to you about the opportunity to create a trail connection between Redfern Drive and Brookman Road. As you are aware, there is a 60-foot wide strip of land along the southern border of the city that has been annexed to the city and is currently part of the final decision for LU 2021-023 Cedar Creek Gardens subdevelopment. I have appeared before the Parks Board, Planning Commission, and City Council several times encouraging the development of a pedestrian trail between Brookman Road and Redfern Drive. An important aspect of this trail is the preservation of the magnificent trees in the area. While I feel that I have received agreement and moral support from the citizen members of Parks, Planning, and even Council, I have not been able to mobilize that support into action. In a parallel activity by myself and many of our local neighbors, we appeared at the administrative hearing for LU 2021-023, trying to minimize the damage to the forest and the impact to the neighborhood. While our success was minimal and many of the proposals by the developer have been approved, that does not mean that I've given up on the possibilities. The plat maps are still under development and the final lines have not been established, but some of the strip has been preserved and labeled as open space. However, 2 housing lots with a shared driveway connecting Brookman Road have been approved. I have a thought that I'd like to explore, and that would be for the city to purchase the 2 lots before they're developed. The goal, of course, is to make the purchase price as low as possible, but making it profitable enough for the developer to consider the sale. The timing could be advantageous to the city as the contractor is looking at significant costs to develop the properties, including improvements to Brookman Road for a left turn lane into the property, significant City of Sherwood permit and SDC fees for grading and infrastructure, remediation of wetlands and sensitive areas, cost of installation of the infrastructure, including water, power, and sanitary, cost of driveway materials and installation, and the added costs of design for a unique structure on an unusual lot dimensions. The city, in its negotiations, should be able to convince the developer that the sale of the property at a fair price would be more profitable in the end, rather than trying to fully develop the property with the hope that in an uncertain economy, the sale would be profitable. What I don't have is a sense of will from the city council. It could be that the members of the council have moved on from Brookman Road and have their eyes on the development of Sherwood West. I hope not, as the citizens of Sherwood have made it clear that the preservation and access to natural areas is extremely important. It also seems timely that with the sale of the YMCA building and the funds generated for the use of parks and natural resources. Now, I understand this is not something that the council can do directly, at least in the near term, but I am asking the city council to express their interest to the city manager and direct that inquiries be made to the developer regarding these possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. And with council's indulgence here, I just want to take a slight detour, and with Renee's help. Jane, you have some visitors from Columbia in the room today, and I just wanted to recognize that very quickly. Is that okay with council? Awesome.
I'd like you to meet Carolina Romero Ramirez, and she's visiting us from Colombia, and she lives with Renee. And this is my friend Rafael Palacios Cortez, who lives in the United States already and is one of my friends from the Rotary Club.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for context for everybody, so there's a very vibrant Rotary Club here in Sherwood. 3 of us are members of that Rotary Club, and we have a sister club in La Plata, Colombia, and we have some visitors visiting us this month, which is awesome. Renee, did you want to say anything as a fellow Rotarian?
Bienvenido. Gracias por atender esta reunión. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. Yes, we have a long-standing 12-year relationship with a club in La Plata, Huila, Colombia. Carolina is a member there of the club and will be staying here in our wonderful city for the next 6 months and learning English, learning about our culture, and then we'll have some more visitors coming in May. Another 10 Rotarians coming to support our club as we do a celebration in Kennewick, Washington, but they will be staying here in Sherwood for a couple days as well. So, gracias.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Council, for letting me detour there for a second. Do we have any other citizen comments? Brad, do we have anybody online? All right. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to presentations. We have one presentation tonight, and I want to read this. This is, for those of you who don't know, it's National Community Development Week, and we want to recognize that, recognize all of our staff that are involved in the hard work of making this city a wonderful place to live. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. It's a little bit long, but I think it's worthy, and we should get it out there. So this is a proclamation, National Community Development Week, April 10th through April 14th, 2023. Whereas the week of April 10th through April 14th, 2023, I know I'm repeating myself, has been designated a National Community Development Week by the National Community Development Association to celebrate Community Development Block Grant CDBG program in the Home Investment Partnership Home Program. And whereas the CDBG program provides annual funding and flexibility to local communities to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities to low and moderate income people. And whereas the Home Investment Partnership program provides the funding to local communities to create decent, safe, affordable housing opportunities for low-income persons. Nationally, over 1 million units of affordable housing has been completed using home funds. And whereas over the program's history, our community has received a total of $2.336482 million in CDBG funds. Now, therefore, it is to be resolved that the City of Sherwood designates the week of April 10th through April 14th, 2023 as National Community Development Week in support of these two valuable programs, and have made tremendous contributions to the viability of the housing stock, infrastructure, public services, and economic vitality of our community. Be it further resolved that this community urges Congress and the administration to recognize the outstanding work being done locally and nationally by the Community Development Block Grant Program and the Home Investment Partnership Program by supporting increased funding for both programs in fiscal year 2023. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Sherwood, Oregon to be affixed this day, April 4th, 2023. So, Councilor Young, did you want to say anything about this program? I know it's near and dear to your heart.
I did. So I serve on this policy advisory board for the county for the past 6.5 years. We just recently went through a round of grant applications. The City of Sherwood applied for one this round and was approved, depending on funding. But for the senior center siding and window replacement, $208,000. So we have been a beneficiary of a lot of funds from these federal grant funds from this committee. So it's definitely we're the committee that I sit on. We help give organizations to help give rental assistance, build affordable housing units. So it is a good program.
No, it's a great program, and I just want to give a shout out to our staff as well, because this is the county manages these funds for the federal government. You don't just get them automatically. Our staff has to put together grants and go through a whole process to make sure those funds come in, and they do a great job, and we've had great success bringing those funds in.
Yeah, so the Policy Advisory Board has one member of each city on it within Washington County, as well as a member of the Washington County Board of Commissioners. We get all the grant applications. We go through a program called Zoom Grants. We all do our ratings of them. The Washington County Community Development staff does staff ratings, and then each grant applicant has to come give a presentation in person, which helps us also score their applications, and then that's how the grants are funded.
Council President, I saw you turn your mic on. Did you want to add something?
I just am a big fan of the program, as you both have stated. Sherwood has been successful in getting grant applications approved. The single largest beneficiary that we've had locally is connected to the senior center, expanding the senior center, redoing parts of the interior of the senior center, and now the exterior of the senior center. Since I've been in office, we've re-roofed it at least once, if not twice. Time goes by. Appreciate Councilor Young's service the last 6 years, and helping to evaluate requests from throughout the county to help best utilize those funds.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else want to comment? Okay, great. All right, moving on. So we have new business tonight. We have a resolution 2023-024, support of the Sherwood School District Local Levy Option 34-323. Keith Campbell's not out tonight, but we have Kristen Schweitzer standing in, so you want to take it away?
Hello. So last month, Dr. Jeremy Lyon from the Sherwood School District gave a presentation regarding the proposed 5-year local option levy. According to the presentation, the levy would address immediate shortfalls discovered in the July of 2022 due to an overestimation of revenue. The levy would maintain current programs, teachers, and staff while moving the district from being the last in per pupil revenue as compared to surrounding districts. The levy would generate school funding and would stay in Sherwood and not be captured by the state. Staff brings forward for consideration to the Sherwood City Council Resolution 2023-024, support of the Sherwood School District Local Option Levy 34-323. You're welcome.
Thank you, Kristen. We have this resolution before us. Just as a reminder to folks, the school system and the city are separate government entities. I've gotten some questions about that lately, like who reports to who, and is there oversight of the two? And there's not. They're completely. The city is a local government, and the school district is what they call a special district. Normally, we don't get involved across those lines, but for me personally, I do believe in partnering with our schools is important, and this is definitely a family town. You know, and we have the highest ratio of school-age kids per household in the state by a lot. So I think, in my opinion, I am in support of this resolution and supporting our schools and supporting the things that make Sherwood great. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. Does anybody else want to? Councilor Young? Council President
He's first.
I appreciate staff bringing this forward at my request and others' requests from 2 weeks ago. Appreciate the comments from the mayor. Yes, we don't control, we don't dictate, the rate they're suggesting in this levy, how they're going to spend the money in this levy, but we have traditionally been incredibly supportive of our schools. The schools are very important part of our community, and we know that it is unusual to weigh in on another government entity, but I feel it's very important in our community for us to give our thoughts, and like I said, just on the face of, do we support our schools and the need for additional resources or not? No comment on the levy amount request. I'm a big yes. So I greatly appreciate the superintendent's report, the transparency that he's given to the community, to us, talking to us about what they've experienced and realized the last couple of years, what they've done to make corrections and going forward, and the steps they're going to take to keep our schools some of the best, in my opinion, the best public schools in Oregon. And I think this is an important piece to that. So I'm supportive of the resolution.
Thank you, Councilor Young.
Yeah, I too am very supportive of the resolution. Dr. Lyons and the school district have done many, many meetings since they discovered a budgeting issue back in July. And in my opinion, they've been open and transparent about everything. You can find all the information on their website. And I went to at least 3, if not 4 of the meetings where they were presenting the information. They're still holding meetings. I think this week there's a town hall meeting Thursday morning. I could get the date wrong, but they're still holding informational meetings where citizens come ask all the questions you want. Dr. Lyons at one of the town hall meetings, he sat up there and must have took 40 questions, and him and his staff answered every single one from every single citizen. And I feel like they're being very transparent. I moved here for the schools of Sherwood. My kids went through charter school and then through the Sherwood High School. It's the reason why we're here in Sherwood, and I just think when I talk to people in Sherwood, a lot of the reasons why they're here is they've moved here for the schools and our safest city recognition. But so I'm supportive of this as well.
I'll come back to you, Doug.
Yes, so I am a big supporter of education and of the schools, and I think Dr. Lyons and the new administration over there are doing an amazing job over there. So let me get that out of the way. With that being said, I spoke on this a couple of years ago when a similar resolution came, or 2 similar resolutions came before us to ask for us to express public support for, I think it was the library levy and maybe a TVF&R levy. And regardless of whether I personally will vote for or against the levy or believe the levy should or shouldn't be passed, I do believe as an elected body, my personal belief is that it's not appropriate for us to weigh in on an issue that will be going in front of the taxpayer for a vote. So personally, I'm not in support of this resolution. Has no bearing on whether or not I'm in support of the levy itself. Thank you.
Doug?
especially with the assurances and the oversight committees that are saying that this is not going to administrative costs, this is all going to programs and teachers, staff members, things like that, to maintain these programs. I'm going to vote in favor of it, and mostly it is because of the results that I like to support things that are working, that are people that are really doing a phenomenal job. I also loved in the Dr. Lyons presentation where he called out that this is money that is staying local, right? We have a say over this money, unlike other money that has to go to Salem and we don't get back everything that we send. And so I think this sets us up for the future in a way that a normal, that our normal school funding does not address. So I'm in favor of this. Thank you.
So while I too am in favor of the school district and supporting the school district and the schools and the kids and education, I will not be supporting the resolution. As a representative of all citizens in the community, I've had a number of citizens come to me with a different set of opinions on the proposal and the amount of taxes that they pay. And so out of that, I will not be voting in favor. I have spoken to Dr. Lyons. He and I are good.
I have no comment on this.
Any other thoughts or discussion from council on this?
The point of order question.
Yes.
May I request a roll call vote? Or is that allowed? I don't know if that's allowed. Do I have to make a motion for that, or? I'm not familiar with the parliamentary procedure, so.
Well, normally on resolutions, it's just a nay, and abstain. You can do a roll call. But Sylvia, you.
We don't normally do abstain, so when we do
Is
it.
that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we
Mayor
can-
and council, the record will show, as your minutes always do, who voted in favor. So if you want to do that here, that's fine, but the
Okay,
record will show.
I'm good with that. Okay.
You know, I can ask for the abstain votes too. That's what you're looking for. Okay.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-024, support of the Sherwood School District Local Option Levy 34-323.
Second? All right, we have a motion and a second, so any more discussion on the motion? All in favor of supporting resolution 2023-024, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Did you catch all that, Sylvia? Awesome. Motion passes. Thank you, council. All right. Moving on, we have a second reading of an ordinance tonight. Sylvia, you want to take us through the procedure?
The Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to receive testimony on ordinance 2023-003, amending Title 12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code and adopting standards and procedures for a permanent outdoor seating program. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the hearing, and no other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff. Questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. This is the second hearing before the City Council on this item. A decision may be made by the council at the close of this hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain. If the matter is continued to a date certain, this is the only notice of that date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please complete a request to speak form and submit it to the city recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The mayor will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. Now go ahead and turn it over to Eric.
Thank you, Sylvia, Mayor Rosen, our City Council.
This ordinance is amending Title 12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code, as Sylvia mentioned. So this this program would allow businesses in city limits to occupy a portion of the sidewalk or up to 2 parking stalls in the street. Would not apply to county right-of-way or state Highway 99 right-of-way. We had a pilot program last year, limited to Old Town, and the changes that council requested to that from that pilot program is for this permanent program, it would apply citywide, not be limited to Old Town. Sidewalk use would be permitted year-round. The street or parking stall use would be permitted seasonally instead of year-round, and then there would be annual renewal with no renewal fee. So those are the changes that are proposed from the pilot program, and this is the second reading. If we get it passed tonight, we should be able to do the outreach and issue permits in time for the warm weather.
All right, thank you, Eric. Any questions for Eric? Councilor Rouse wanted to know if the warmer weather was coming. I think her mic was off.
I think we're all wondering that.
6 to 12 weeks. I move we read, caption, adopt ordinance 2022.
Just before you finish, just make sure that we don't have any public.
Oh, I apologize. You haven't
Yes.
closed the public hearing.
I have not.
I am
Jumping
just
again.
jumping the gun, looking at the clock, saying, all right, I apologize.
That's okay.
Mayor.
Do we have any public comment on this subject? No? Anyone in the audience? All right, any discussion from council? All right, Council President.
Anyone online?
Anyone online?
Said no.
Said no.
All right, Council
Is
President,
the public hearing closed?
public hearing is closed. You may make a motion.
Thank you. I'd like to read, caption, and adopt. I've done this in, I don't know how many years. Ordinance 2023-003.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Sylvia?
It's 2023-003, amending Title 12 of the Sherwood Municipal Code and adopting standards and procedures for a permanent outdoor seating program. Counselor Stankey, how do you vote?
Yay.
Counselor Giles?
Yay.
Counselor Scott?
Yay.
Counselor Young?
Yay.
Counselor Browse?
Yay.
Council President Mays?
Aye.
Mayor Rosner?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Throw me off.
The ordinance passes. Thank you, council. All right, moving on, item 10, city manager report. Again, Kristen is filling in for Keith Campbell. Do you have anything for
I
us?
do not have anything to report, but I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you might have, or for any.
Did the sign make it down intact?
It did. I have pictures to prove it, so, yes.
I know there was a lot of people concerned about that, so, thank you.
It seemed much larger once it came down.
Are we still on track for
We are.
being on time?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Do you want to fill everybody else in with?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about the Robin Hood Plaza development. So the Robin Hood sign has come down intact to be preserved for future generations to enjoy somewhere. And the plaza is on schedule for June 1st? June
That's
1st?
the estimated.
I think the sign has a temporary home to go to, right?
It does. Yes, Langer's Fun Center is going to be doing a historical display over there. They also have the organ from the old Robin Hood Theater.
Yes.
So they're excited to do that and honor the site. I will also just mention, since we're talking about Old Town construction, things are well underway over at Veterans Park. That memorial project is moving quite quickly. I don't think it's going to be too much longer before they're complete. So we'll make sure to update all of you on that, and we're working on a grand opening or ribbon cutting event. So we'll be checking with you on dates that everyone is available.
Council President?
Are we getting any more snow between now and July?
Well, it was snowing at my house yesterday morning.
What?
So, yeah, I would not be surprised at all.
Craig's shaking his head going, no.
I was just going to say on the old Robin Hood Theater sign, that's super exciting for those of us that have lived in the community for a long, long time remember that theater actually being there, and so it's great to see that piece of our history preserved. And if you haven't seen the organ over at the at Langer's Entertainment Center, it's pretty cool. It's definitely an old-timey organ.
And at the Sherwood Center for the Arts, in the dressing room, we have one of the elephant heads. So you're welcome to visit that as well.
Awesome. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Any other questions? Awesome. So we will move on to council announcements. Let's see. Who do we want to start with first tonight?
Mine's short. Dan wants to start.
Dan, you want to go first?
The Planning Commission did not meet last week. However, I had the privilege of being part of the interview process for the 2 vacant seats. I met with both Corey and Tyler and excited to have both of them on the Planning Commission. Last Saturday, there was a coffee with the seniors with Representative Neron that I was able to attend. She spoke for about an hour, answered questions. It ended up being more of a town hall type of setting with the seniors there. Pretty decent turnout, 30, 40 people were there. The biggest takeaway for me was the seniors who are 75 plus on a fixed income, they don't really have the support that they're needing right now with the way that the economy is going with inflation and whatnot. So just something to bring awareness to. And then last time I asked about the Sherwood well on Pine and Willamette that got damaged during that storm. The construction happened in the last 2 weeks and it looks great. And so I want to thank Craig Public Works for making sure that that got repaired and everything looks great. Thank you.
All right. So I was also at the senior center for that. Well, my big takeaway from that, and one of the things that I'm working with in my professional career as well, is to see what additional things we can do for the seniors to, help. I know that they got a grant that was originally from the for the transportation. They talked about it.
The van?
Yeah,
Yes, van.
the van that was a grant from the Pride
Community Enhancement Grant?
Community Enhancement Grant. There we go. Sorry. We'll get it. Anyway, and things like that to help them get around the city. I'm a big believer. Frankly, I want to make senior services as robust as possible. Every year that I edge closer to being one myself, I feel like I can do this and let our seniors get some use out of it before I'm there myself, because I feel like that center is a huge asset to our community, and we could have more services, we could have more things, and so I'm grateful for that time we had there. One other thing, and somebody else will probably mention it, but can't hurt to mention it again, is the Trash Palooza that's coming up this month. It does require pre-registration. It's a great way to spend the morning with the kids, or you can sign up as a team. We meet here at Cannery Square, and you just get a route and pick up garbage, and you'd be amazed at how much we pick up every year. So please sign up, and it's a great way to spend the morning. I guess the best way to find it is to go to Trash Palooza in Sherwood and Google it. It's actually kind of hard to find from our website.
Shocking.
So, unfortunately.
So am I up now? I thought we were bouncing back and forth.
We are bouncing back.
All right, let's do it. 3 things for me today. First of all, big thank you to Corey, Tyler, and Xana for their appointments to the various boards and commissions. It's such a huge, important part of what the city does with all of our various boards and commissions, and all of these people are volunteer who give up their time to do so. So thank the 3 of them for joining. And second thing, as former Councilor Shaw Darwin would say about this time of year, every year, I'll take up the baton, I suppose. So spring hasn't sprung yet, but hopefully it will before we meet again, which means there'll be more people walking, running, biking, jogging out on the streets and sidewalks, kids and adults alike. So start to be extra cautious when you see people out there when you're driving around. And then third and final thing, just a big shout out to Sherwood High alum Adley Rutschman at 5 for 5 on opening day. So he's off to a hot start.
It's amazing that his name and Babe Ruth's name are being used in the same sentence, isn't it? It's crazy.
I did not make the event Saturday with Courtney Neron and Aaron Woods. Our whole family has been sick for like 14 days, it seems like. I'm on the I'm on the recovered end, but I did reach out to Courtney and let her know I wasn't going to be able to make that. I just wanted to give a little more context because I know I'm probably going to get some questions from folks in the community as to why I would be voting to support the school levy. As a big proponent of school of choice, I think students should have the right to choose where they want to go to school. Public schools, not for everybody. Charter schools, private schools, home schools, all great options for finding the right fit for your kid. But I also know that largest percentage of our kids will go through public schools, and I want to make sure that we have the funds to educate them, to turn them out to be good citizens, to be good members of society, and to be as best educated as possible. I know there's folks in the community who don't agree with some of the curriculum and stuff coming down through. I think that fights with Salem and not with the Sherwood School District. They're having to teach what's being dictated. So just want to add a little bit more to that. Our last police advisory board was canceled, and I missed the last CDBG because we were here at a town hall for the YMCA, so I don't have any other updates.
All right. Councilor Browse.
I too attended the coffee chat at the senior center. It was well worth the time and hearing from the different topics from housing to mental health and everything in between. It was really nice also sitting at the table with Anna as we were there to share information and encourage people to sign up for the survey. And I'm hoping that there'll be further discussions about mental health in our community. That was one of the topics that was brought up that day. Attended the Bowl of the Cop last Monday. That was a lot of fun. Great turnout from the community, great turnout from staff, and also from the police department. I think everybody that was there had a great time, and I think I can share this now. If not, excuse me for sharing. I think we raised over $3,500. So thank you to Langers for that opportunity, because those funds go into the Sherwood Police Foundation funds that help support the PD. The Senior Advisory Board will meet next week. Our focus right now is on the senior-friendly survey that's out there. Say that several times really fast. There's still an opportunity to take it. You don't have to be a senior to do so, but we're really looking for that feedback. And then lastly, on April 28th is the next Sherwood Police Foundation Gala. We've opened up an additional, I think, 9 seats, and 7 more are available. So it is a sold-out function, and we're looking forward to having fun and supporting our PD. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Council President Mays.
Since our last meeting, not much to report, but certainly if folks are looking at this and thinking about whether or not they want to vote for the school levy, as someone who has no kids in the school system, but realizes that Sherwood, we are here. The community is, everyone spoke great things about our schools and our school district, but by continuing to maintain Sherwood schools as the best or near the best public education in Oregon, that only reinforces the attractiveness of our community, and therefore your home values, et cetera, et cetera. So supporting the taxes is in a way it's an investment in our community in more ways than one. And that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you. Just to add some color to that, I agree. The schools are where it starts. It's really the kids. I think there's 3 things that make Sherwood great. One is our schools. 2 is it's an incredibly safe community. Kudos out to our police department. And then between public works and community development and all of our city staff and the library, we've designed a community that's just a fun place to live in. And I think it takes all 3 of those. It takes 3 legs to make a stool, right? So, so I do believe in supporting the schools and supporting our kids. I was not at Representative Neron's Saturday session over at the Senior Center, nor did I make the Bowl with the Cop. I wanted to go to both, but I was actually in Washington, D.C. That weekend, and I was flying back on the night they were bowling. So I wish I could have done that. It would have been a lot better than sitting 5 hours in an airplane and coach. But I did. The trip to DC was well worth it. I got to meet, I think I mentioned this in a previous meeting, that we're going after some earmarks. You're not supposed to call them that yet, but that's the way the system works for broadband and other things that we need infrastructure-wise in our community. So I made some good contacts at the FCC and NTIA, Treasury and Commerce, along those lines. I also got to sit into some great sessions on some potential grant opportunities around railroads that's coming down the pike that potentially could help fund some railroad overpasses or underpasses in the Brookman area to open that up a little bit down the road, which is great to hear from those folks as well. So there was about 60 of us from the League of Oregon Cities, so other mayors and councilors from around the state that were in DC for that trip.
Did you present at one of the sessions?
Yes, I was asked to present.
What were you presenting on?
I was presenting on broadband grant opportunities that are coming from the federal government. And I was asked to do that because I sit on the Oregon Broadband Advisory Council. So they asked me to speak about that. So that was the other reason that I was out there. But it was a good trip, made a lot of contacts, and it's what you have to do if you want to bring the money back to the community. You have to put in that legwork. What else have I been doing? We had an impact meeting, the Metro Policy Advisory Council. Not a lot to report yet on that. They're still kind of gearing up, but that group advises the Metro regional government on land use planning.
It just gets funner and funner. As someone who served many years on that, it is one of the funner ones you'll be doing.
It's important, but a little fun. I will put it that way. But it's really important because that's our chance.
It is important
to get our input in terms of how Metro looks at planning, zoning, and potentially UGB expansion.
And you're the small city rep for Washington County?
I'm the small city rep for Washington County. So awesome. It's really important. And for those of you who don't know this, Metro and the state dictate a lot of how we do land use planning. A lot of people think it's more and more all the time. And so it's a lot of time it's not all up to us. So we have to advocate for ourselves and for other small / what I call edge communities in the Portland metropolitan area on what works for us versus what works in downtown Portland. We can't have a one-size-fits-all lens when we think about zoning, planning, community development.
So we'd like to think there's not a one-size-fits-all.
Along those lines, I've also been spending some time working with the League of Oregon Cities and lobbying on behalf of Sherwood and cities when it comes to a lot of the housing regulations and rules that are coming out of the state legislature right now. I can't stress the importance of finding housing solutions for our houseless community out there. However, we have to do it in a way that works for the individual communities. High-density apartments don't work, in Sherwood because we don't have transit. I mean, there's a lot of things that make Sherwood unique, and we need to advocate for that. So, been spending some time doing that. Had a WCCC, Washington County Coordinating Committee meeting. Not a lot to report there, although the big conversation right now is on tolling. For everyone if you're paying attention to the news, ODOT and Salem are looking at putting tolling in on 205 and eventually all the way down to I-5 just south of the Wilsonville-Boone Bridge. You may think to yourself, well, that doesn't affect Sherwood. Why are we interested in that? We're very interested in that because as soon as you put tolling in, people try to find different other ways to get to work, to get to the grocery store, whatever that might be, that doesn't involve paying a toll, which could mean a lot more traffic on 99 West coming north out of Yamhill County and trying to get to the work center. So that's something that's very important to us, and there is a large contingent of cities that we've joined in with that are advocating for ODOT to take another look at that.
How could more cars fit on 99, Mayor?
More lanes, but that's probably not going to happen. So anyway, that has been a big, that's been chewing up some time too. We are in the long session in Salem. We get, every 2 years we have a long session, and Salem tries to cram a lot of bills through in a very short amount of time, so we have to pay attention to that. And that is, I think, all I have. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? Keith, you press the green light's on. You're dying to say something.
Move to adjourn. Just kidding. I'm not going to make the motion.
All right. Thank you, everybody. The meeting's adjourned.